Hi guys, Assalamualaikum and good evening. So today we are from Group 8 and today we would like to present about oyster sauce. So for the group members, we have Muhammad Faris bin Abdul Hamid S63553, Shahidah binti Mazlan S62722, myself Nofarhan Safizah binti Hashim S61887, Nur Sahirah binti Nazri S63373, and lastly Hazatul Aisyah binti Hasin S64369.
Content consists of four parts, which are first, product description; second, HACCP CCP decision table; third, HACCP control plan; and lastly, process flow diagram.
Assalamualaikum and hi. We are from Group 8 and my name is Muhammad Faris bin Abdul Hamid. My monthly number is 63553. Okay, today I will present about the product description. Production of oyster sauce began in China as late as the mid 1870. Oyster are boiled for 30 minutes in 3 iron basin before being removed to dry on the rattan in the sun or over medium heat. The water from the basin is reduced to a blackish sauce. In the for basin, it is possible to add seawater, salt, and a soy. The majority of commercial oyster sauce are made on automated production line. Many shortcuts have been taken in order to create a similar flavor faster and at a lower cost. Oyster sauce today is typically made with a sugar and salt base and thickened with corn flour. The base sauce is then flavored with oyster extract or essence.
So for the product description, first for the content, oyster sauce has oyster extract, soy sauce, water, sugar, salt, wheat flour and cornstarch. Next for the product specification, oyster sauce is a dark brown, savory sauce popular in Asian cuisine. It's made by simmering oyster in water and then thickening the liquid with sugar and salt. Other ingredients such as soy sauce, corn flour and sometimes MSG may be added. Next, for the packaging, for the primary packaging, it was packaged in glass bottle with screw top lid. Next, for the secondary packaging, the bottle are placed in a cardboard box for shipping. Next, for the method of storage, oyster sauce should be stored in a cool, dry place away from sunlight and heat source. For the storage condition, oyster sauce should be kept at room temperature around 18 to 25 degrees Celsius and should not be refrigerated unless it has already been opened. Next, for the distribution method, we can have it on supermarket or online retailer. For the shelf life, oyster sauce have 2 to 3 years life if it was unopened, otherwise up to 6 months in optimal storage condition. For the customer requirement, it was direct consumption, and for the intended use, it was ready to use. So for the next part is HACCP CCP decision. So for the keywords, question 1, do control preventive measure exist? Question 2, is the step specifically to remove or reduce the likely occurrence of hazard to an acceptable level? Question 3, could hazard reach unacceptable level? And question 4, will a subsequent step reduce or remove the hazard?
Assalamualaikum, I'm Shahidah S62722 and I'm going to be presenting the process steps, the hazards, the control measure as well as the CCP identification. The first step, receiving raw oyster and ingredients. The hazard, the biological hazard, excessive levels of pathogenic and microorganisms, chemical hazard, heavy metals contamination, and physical hazard, foreign particles. The control measure can be taken is microbial and chemical tests of the raw oyster and ingredients, as well as suppliers approval program. And this step is not CCP. The next step, raw oyster processing. The hazards are growth of microorganism, food allergens, and foreign particles. The control measure can be taken is SOP for raw materials handling and personal hygiene policy. This step is also not CCP. The next step, ingredient storage and also not CCP. The next step is steaming to extract the meat of the oyster. This step is CCP, and the hazard can be found in this step is microbial growth due to temperature changes, heavy metal contamination, and foreign particles. The control measure can be taken is temperature control during cooking, use the metal detector to detect any metallic contaminants, as well as the use of filter and magnets to remove any unwanted foreign particles. The next step, boiling and extracting juice. The hazards found in this step is microbial growth, and control measure can be taken is temperature control during the boiling. This step is CCP. The next is straining the juice and uh, and proceed to blend it with the ingredients and filter it. And these three steps are not CCP. The next step is pasteurization. The hazard can be found in this step is pathogenic bacteria from the surrounding, and the measure control can be taken is monitor and control the temperature and time. This step is CCP. The next step, packaging, and the biological hazard, microbial growth due to the moisture absorption, chemicals hazard from the glass bottles, and the foreign particles from the glass bottles. And the countermeasure can be taken by controlling the temperature and humidity, as well as glass bottle test, and of course the personal hygiene procedure. And this step is CCP. The next step, proceed with labeling, metal detection to detect any metallic contaminants from the finished product. And the next step, storage, and proceed with distribution.
For the next part is process flow diagram. Okay, for the first step is steaming and extracting. Step 2 is boiling and extracting juice, and step 3 is straining. Step 4 is thickening. Step 5 blending. Step 6 is filtering, and step 7 is pasteurization, and step 8 is packaging. Step 9 is labeling. Step 10 is metal detector. Step 11 is storage, and step 12 is distribution.
For the Haccp plan table, for the first process, which are steaming and extracting meat, the significant hazard that have in this process, which are biological and physical hazard. For the control limits, we have to control the temperature, and for the critical limit, we should heated the steaming process should be heated at least 63 degree. And for how to monitor the process, for we have to measure the temperature, and how we should measure the temperature is by fix the temperature at the uh, fixed temperature. For the frequency, every batch have to be monitored by batch. For whom should be monitor the process is by quality control department. And for the corrective action, reserve another electric resource if the current electric source is off. For the verification should be review per batch and auditing. For the record, it should be monitor and record the temperature hourly. For the second process, which are boiling and extracting juice, the significant hazard that include in this process, which are biological and chemical hazard. for the control limits, it include control the temperature. And for the critical limit, it should be maintain temperature at least 100 degree and it should be clean and sanitized equipment. What should be measured is we should measure the temperature, and how should we monitor is by fix the temperature based on the process. And how frequency it should be monitored, it should be done hourly. And for room, it should be monitored by quality control department. And for the corrective action, if the quality does not meet the standard, if the oyster does not meet the standard, then the oysters should be discarded. And for the verification, it should be review monitoring record and conduct regular testing. And for the record, it should the temperature monitoring form. And the third process, which are pasteurization, the significant hazard include biological hazard. And for the control limit, it include control temperature. And for the critical limit, the pasteurization process should be not less than 62.8 degrees Celsius or more than 65.6 degree. And for what it should be monitored, it should be measure the temperature. And how we should monitor the temperature is by fix the temperature. And how frequent it should be monitored is should be done hourly. And for room should be monitored is by quality control department. The corrective action, if the quality does not meet the standard, then the oyster should be discarded. For the verification, the review monitoring record and corrective action regularly. For the record, temperature monitoring form.
For process type packaging, significant hazard, biological, chemical and physical hazard. For control limits, control temperature and humidity leak test. For critical limits, no leaking, control temperature and humidity of packaging room. What we can monitor, it was monitor temperature inside packaging. How we can monitor, auto packing and control the liquid under the temperature control room. What we can monitor about frequency, every 30 minutes, packet check and temperature and humidity. Who we can monitor, packaging operator and QC department. Corrective action, reject the wrapper and finish batch and recheck whole batch. Verification, auditing, record, it is leak test report. Process step for pressure cooking, significant hazard, biological, chemical and physical hazard. For control limit, control temperature and pressure. Critical limits, no leaking, control temperature range, cooking pressure. What we can monitor temperature inside pot. How we can monitor substable temperature and pressure management. What we can monitor about frequency, every batch and every 30 minutes. Who we can monitor, QC and production department. Corrective action, reserve another electric source if the current electric source is off. Verification, review per batch or auditing. Record, monitor and record the temperature and pressure every 30 minutes.